Forgiveness-filled day is the intention for today. Welcome to Lead with Intentions, where every single week I, your coach, shows up here usually alone. I'm ready to serve you. Today's a little bit different. It's truly an honor to cross paths with you today. And the intention of the show is to really bring forth individuals and guests like our Eduardo Harari today, alongside with these two little humans. These are my humans going live to the world today. Just for you guys, welcome to Spanglish World Network and Zingo TV channels 250 and 251. Please remember to download the Zingo TV app on your respective app stores. iOS, Android, the whole smart TV lineup 2016 on forward. We're available across Roku and across all of Amazon Fire. Now, that Chromecast device, hook it up and go ahead and stream us on there too. With that said, I really wish and I really pray that when you're downloading this application, you leave us a review. You rate it to let us know how we are doing because we are here to serve you. Okay, so without further ado, let's kind of get into this. Today, we had a little hiccup and we thought, what can we do? So first, we're gonna forgive whatever the unfoldings of life and then really launch back in here. My kids are home today from school. It is election day here in the United States. So I'm gonna take a little bit of a moment to have them introduce themselves. All right, go ahead.
Yo, my name is Aud, and yeah.
Okay.
My name is Isa, and I'm 14 years old.
Okay. And who are we interviewing today? Boys.
Eduardo
Miss-
Harari.
Mr. Eduardo Harari, right?
Right?
All right. Do you guys have any questions for him?
Nah, not really.
No.
Think about it.
Nah.
If you could ask a man, a successful man, anything, what would you ask him?
Can I get some money?
Gee, I see they roll from the right tree.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's going right into it. Okay, so Mr. Eduardo, we're gonna learn a little bit more about him. We know that he has a family. He's got 2 kids, and we've talked about how for you family is so important. But today, I think what we're gonna do, and this is completely unscripted. So for those of you who are listening, be kind to us. Forgive us for our mistakes today. We are literally doing this on a fly. Okay, so tell us a little bit more about what's that mindset that you've had to tap into to really discover success for yourself and the people that you serve.
I mean, success is the way you want to look at it, whether it is in career-wise, family, or money. And the monetary, to me, you don't measure success with money. Money doesn't is not everything in life. It's what you have done for the world that is more important in your success. What lessons, what legacies you are leaving behind for those who come behind you.
Okay. What do you guys think about that? As teenagers, what do you think about that statement?
I'm okay then.
Okay, then?
All right.
All right. Any questions?
No.
No. So when we're talking about, you're basically talking about one of the most important things, and I think that's just like impact. When you're talking about impact, how is it that you see your impact, in the world?
I don't know if I try to remain very how can I say, attached to the ground. To me, what I go on normal as a normal day. If I make impact, I think it's comes from above, a, a world beyond me. But I think that what I try to do is go out every day and see how I can help, see how I can move move the world a little bit closer to that uh, self-reliance. When in in both organizations that organizations that I run, a lot of the impact that I do is on students. Why?
Mm,
Because I tend to hire a lot of students to give them an opportunity to get the real feeling of what the business world is about, what life is about. You know, you can learn a lot from books, but once you get into the real world, it's a different situation. And sometimes the books don't tell you everything, and then you get a shock that, oh, but that wasn't in the book. And how, you know, when you're talking in the world of IT, you have to do a lot, go out and speak to a lot of clients,
mm,
and the kids in universities these days are all on the about phones, about tablets, and texting, and this and that, and they forget that there is actually a connection between individuals that
mm.
have to understand each other.
Okay. So that was an Isa. How do you two build connections with people?
I kind of don't. I just like I'm like if you want to talk to me, just talk to me. And like I'm relatively chill to be around, except when I'm hungry, which I am right now.
Okay, so that was gonna go. He just literally said, I'm a pretty chill person to be around, except for when I'm hungry. So he's gonna go chill out and eat a little bit. Isa, how do you build connections with people?
I chat with them, see if I like them. If they're the right person for me, then I'll keep talking. And if it ends up well, it does. If it ends up bad, it's like it ends up bad. But I can't control them.
Okay. What do you think about that, Eduardo? What do you think about that? What Isa's answer is?
It's interesting because, you know, talking with friends, talking with people, there's interaction there, but it's an interaction of a, how can I say, of a closer nature.
Mm-hmm.
It's you know, and what I try to do with some of the students that we have in working with me is to teach them how to interact, not just that you have to make that connection with the person, because you have to be, to me, interaction is trust.
Mm,
uh, if if that other person trusts you, what you are saying, and trusts who you are as a human, then the business will conduct itself by works itself out. So, in school, a lot of the interaction that you have is, how can I say, on a more relaxed environment.
mm-hmm.
So sometimes you forget that you have to be serious for a minute.
Mm. Do you want to be serious?
No,
Nah. Do you think you'll be serious when you're older?
no.
Nah. Why not?
Life is too simple to be serious.
You need to speak up a little bit more.
Because life is too simple to be serious.
Life is too simple to be serious, he says.
Damn. That's a interesting concept. In-
Okay. Can you tell us a little more about that, Isa?
It's like
Mm.
if you work things out like easily, um, actually, never mind. I don't know.
When you said something that was really profound, life is too simple to. So explain to us a little bit more about what that means for you. Like, how is life simple?
Because you could do what you want, but if you do bad things, then you'll get serious about it, and then You'll be like, oh, why did I do this? And then you'll get all stressed about it, blah, blah, blah. That's like, that you shouldn't do that. You should just take the simple route and have everything work out mostly instead of, I mean, taking everything in the harder way.
Mm. Okay. All right. So let Eduardo, how about we noodle on that as adults? When a kiddo says the life should be fun, I don't want to be too serious. And you and I, we both have kids, so we can understand this narrative. How do we apply this, or should we apply this to our life? The simple philosophy of life is too simple to be serious.
So I understand where he's coming from, because as adults we overcomplicate stuff because we are trying to do the right thing,
Hmm.
and we think that we are going the right way about it, but sometimes we forget who our how can I say how who our audience is. If we
Hmm.
are dealing with our kids,
Yeah.
we should try to be more forward, uh, more down to earth, because sometimes, you know we start thinking about the way we deal with business or the way we deal with uh, people in other areas, and we start talking to our kids the same way. And I think that in a way we try to force the kids to think in a different perspective and put too much pressure on them to really analyze what we are trying to tell them.
Yeah. I would agree with that. I think that's so true. I think as adults, it's fun that we're talking about this and he's really bringing it up. I don't know how he knows, but he's in my head. So in the morning today, I was went through a pretty tough yesterday with a lot of like standing up and being courageous and saying things in a way that I mostly don't. So for me, like people who know me, they're always, man, she's like so high vibe. She's always up there. She's always cheerful and bubbly and excited. But there's another side to me too, right? And that side requires me to do a lot of inner work to be better, to simplify things in life. And I would always say things like that too, where I'm like, simplicity is so needed. So in the morning time today, I literally sat there and I was like, what do I want to do? And I said, man, I just want to laugh. I just want to be lighthearted. I just want to have fun. I don't want to take life so seriously. And that's what he's saying. He's saying, simplify it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you think about what's going on today as a day in and we think of the US as this is our world, but what happens today in the US affects everybody around the world. And I have a lot of friends that have called me and have asked me, what do you think is going to happen? And I said, look, to tell you the truth, I don't know, but
Mhm.
it is, if you are worried about it, it's good, because then you're starting to think in the right way, that we all get affected by one simple decision
Hmm.
that is being drawn today, you know and it's I try to simplify the situation,
Hmm.
and there is, you know at the end of the day, a decision is going to be made and we don't have to live with it. And whether it's bad or it's good, I think that we have to move forward
Hmm.
and look at it as, let the decision not split us, but unite us to get it better the next time around.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I think we are, like as humanity and as a whole globe, we are interconnected, and one decision does trickle down. Isa, can you think of one decision that has changed your life, or something that happened in your life that has changed it?
No.
Nothing. Like you've had nothing happen in your life before?
I have, but not anything that changed my life.
Okay. So all the times that you've moved, nothing.
Mm, all the times that I've moved,
Uh-huh. Just have to kind of start all over again.
nope.
No. Okay. So if you can teach us adults how to worry less, how do we do that?
Just don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it. It's like when we start to worry, we say,
It's not anything that you say. Just don't worry
just
about
don't
it.
worry about it. Like for those of you who are listening, I wanted to say thank you so much for bearing with us and being patient. I really hope that the conversation today is a very different one, which I know it already is. However, when a little kid, at the age of adolescence, thinks of life and looks at life versus how us adults talk about life and how much worry and, challenges and stress that we add on a lot of times, it's so different. So I often will tell my clients and remind myself as well just to live like more childlike, to add more love and joy and fun and presence and entertainment into your life. So, Eduardo, what is it that you do for those types of things in your life?
So I think that in my situation, ways to relax is just being around family. Uh,
Mm,
you know, it's when having the time, going out, uh, going to a restaurant, going somewhere with the family, and just relaxing and taking it easy. Uh, because time flies, and I look at myself, and there's things that I regret, as my kids have been growing up, that I haven't been there full time. But the little times that I have with them are more valuable than anything in the world, because those are the times that really happiness comes,
mm,
and you really start understanding what life is all about.
okay. So, when you're saying that you regret some of the times that you were not there for your kids, can you tell us a little bit more about what that is? Because I think the other fathers that are listening to you right now, and even the mothers that are listening are like, oh, it's a real thing. Like they also feel this way. What are those times where you wish you woulda, shoulda, coulda?
So, in there is events in your kids' lives, plays that they have at school, or sports, or whatever. It's those, going out, Halloween, trick or treating. Uh, uh, you know, my wife goes out with the kids, but I don't, because there is other responsibilities that you have to take care of. But I regret that I didn't make the book the time off to be with them.
Mm,
You know, because those are fun times. Seeing the kids go to door and collecting candies and this stuff that
mhm,
I enjoy as a kid myself. You know what I mean? So it's those events in a child's life where they don't see you. Uh, it's very tough. It, because then they say, the- believe it or not, the kids remember at the end of the
mhm.
day when they grow up. Uh, oh, you weren't there for here. Uh, you were working, and then you start really thinking about, oops, was it worth what's
Mm,
all what I was doing worth what missing those times? So you try to adjust.
yeah. So, were there times that you wanted me to be there and I wasn't there, or you wanted to do things that we didn't do?
Um, um, not that I can't remember it, but there was this one a while ago where my brother got really mad, and then I wanted to call my mom because he was beating me up, and then but I didn't because she was in California, and then she wasn't picking up her phone, and I wanted her there, but she couldn't come.
Okay. All right. Why couldn't I come?
Because you were in California.
So I was in a different state.
Yeah,
Do you remember what I was doing there?
you were at a growth day, Brendan Bouchard meeting or
I was
something.
at a conference. Okay. All right. Well, Isa, do you want to keep staying on or do you want to go do other things?
I'm gonna go, but I might come back.
Okay. Well, we'll wait for you to come back.
Awesome.
Sounds great. Thank you so much for showing up, Isa.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I want to kind of dive back in, right, to the simple things of life. So we're talking a little bit about, ways that we define success. You said, Eduardo, that defining success for you was influence and making sure you're impacting people and especially finding that joy and happiness within your family. Now, if you were to give somebody an advice, your younger self an advice, what would you say to them?
Don't. It's hard because although I would say, as your son said, take life in stride, it's hard to say that when when you are single, when you are uh, starting your life. Uh, you tend to do things that you would otherwise you wouldn't do.
Mm-hmm.
But when you start a family and you are seeing, you know, your kids growing up, you say, hold on, there is time for fun, there is time for reality, and the reality takes over because you are saying, do I want them to go through the same struggles that I went through when I was young?
Mm.
And you don't want them to go through those struggles, and you try to give them everything, but that everything takes time. It doesn't as it says, it doesn't drop. I am not Abraham Lincoln. An apple doesn't drop out of the tree. So you know
Well, you just got poked. So you know what? That's live action. Who is there? Who's in the background there?
my wonderful daughter,
Can she come on camera?
she doesn't like cameras.
She doesn't like cameras. Okay. Yeah. My eldest doesn't like cameras either. I said, hey, you want to go live? He goes, what? Right now? I'm like, yep, right now. He goes, okay. And that was a big deal for him. So I can understand what your daughter is saying. Now, I think there is this really beautiful thing that I just recently, my son was talking about me being at a seminar on a Sunday. So I do these often enough where every single year I will take some time away from the kids to just have my own inner growth and just go through a journey where individuals who are like minded are showing up there, right? To kind of redefine their life or live more intentionally or more mission driven. And there's this man who said something so profound. His name is Ed Milet. And Ed Milet, I had never ever heard of him until this year. And he is the one of the top high performance coaches in the entire globe. And so for him, it's such a big deal to be like honest on watching him kind of on the stage. And he said, if there was any regret in my life, I would say the one thing that I regret is not having enough fun, is not doing the things that actually fuel me and make me happy because I was so busy doing everything else. So he said something like, I just want to have more fun. I just want to have more fun in life. And I think as adults, we forget that. So when you're talking about your family, kind of that thing of being relaxing, do you do anything to add fun in your life?
Um, I think you know my outings with my family. Go, I've been trying to take my kids to show them how I grew up. My sports side. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so I going to baseball games, going to football games, uh, going to I actually took them to university, took them to a university college basketball game, and
Mm-hmm.
they were, holy moly, there's so many students. And I said, yeah, 95% are students, the other 5% are the alumni. And they said, but there's over 100,000 people here. And they said, and they are yelling and screaming like they have no tomorrow. And they were surprised to see that because it's not a normal environment. People actually enjoying themselves. And when they saw me start screaming and yelling about a football game or a basketball game, they just go crazy because they said, you are out of your normal self.
Mm. And so, what is it about these sports that you want your children to kind of soak in? What's that experience that you want them to have?
I think is the I think with sport I want my kids to understand what's how to the team environment,
Mm-hmm.
uh, what being amongst a group of followers is as well, because when you go to as a fan to a to a sports to watch a sports team, you meet people from all aspects of life.
Mm-hmm.
uh, there is I and it's funny to say it, but there's no classes or distinctions of classes when you are at a stadium,
Ah.
and that's one aspect that I always try to show my kids, show everyone that is around me, that to me the class system doesn't exist.
Mm.
You can be from the from from a class that doesn't have much but have
Mm-hmm.
the greatest integrity in the world, and that's what's essential. That's what's important, that you see the values of the person. You don't
Mm-hmm.
see what they have. It's all about the individual. And that it's a life lesson for kids, because kids these days, with the in the world of technology, you don't get to see or experience that.
I think so too. Um I think we live in a world where we don't expose ourselves and even our families to like a melting pot, right? Where there are tons of different ethnicities showing up, and all you're doing is what, like this one's main mission, right? If you're team A, you're like, we're on team A to win, yeah. Team B, you're like, yeah. And sports, I think, especially for men, is such a great way to bond. So, and I love the thought of you saying that I don't really look at, like basically borders as a line of division. You want people and humans to be one. And I think with you, I've felt that from the very beginning, which is why I said yes to, to doing this with you. And so when you're in that stadium, right? And I don't want to only stop at stadium. I want to kind of talk about, and for those of you who are here listening, I want you to kind of zoom out and think of a stadium like a community. What is in that community that enjoys you to bring back more joy, more fun, more excitement into life?
So I think that is relative. The the you are going to enjoy whatever you do if you are in the right in the right environment, with the right people. No matter what happens, you are going to enjoy it because you are with the people that you want to be with.
Mm.
And to me, that's essentially for to being to enjoy something. Uh, you go to a to the theater. I love to go to the theater, but if the if the atmosphere is not what you expect, you will not enjoy what you're watching. If you have people that actually, get involved in the play or whatever you're watching, and they
Mm.
get really thorough, you are going to enjoy it because you're hearing conversations between people on the other side saying, "Hey, did you see that? Did you catch that?" And and that's what makes it enjoyable because you are getting involved in what you are seeing, not just watching it for because it's there.
That's so true. I think collective experiences, if so to speak, if we were to call it that, really bring out elevated emotions, elevated fun and joy, and just expressions. Right? Maybe you missed it. Somebody else saw it, and you're like, "What do you mean? What do you mean? Tell me what happened." And then it's like it starts a conversation, this dialogue, and I love that you actually enjoy theater because I did not know that about you at all.
Yeah, that's has always been a passion with me in the idea that it takes you out of the realism of the world, and it takes you somewhere else. Particularly when you are, and I like a lot of musicals because the
Mm.
musicals are really uh, diverse. I mean, you go from one extreme in the when they do the quiet scenes to when they explode in emotion with the music around. So yeah.
Hmm. Okay, we're talking to a very, very, very productive and busy man. So he's got phones running, calls happening, kiddos showing up, people in the background available. And I really want to say, thank you from the bottom of my heart to coming and saving the day, Eduardo. And for those of you, who don't know who Eduardo is, he is the producer of this brilliant and beautiful platform. Spanglish World kind of began as his own baby and a passion that he's really been pouring into. And I want to tie that back a little bit into what we're talking about a little bit earlier with respect to success. Now, pandemic hits, you start to think of an idea, and this dream of yours starts to kind of, plant seeds. Where did that idea come from for you to actually start to produce your own TV shows and really build out a network that is across the globe?
So the idea actually came during the pandemic because a lot of my friends in the sports world were being released from their duties because networks didn't have live sports to cover,
Hmm.
and the only live sports that there were very limited to the amount of people that could go in. There wasn't an audience. There wasn't. So uh, the media world, the sports world, was really being taken by storm. And I started calling up friends, and I said, "Look, I am putting together a show about what's going on in soccer. The games are still going. The games were still going on, but no one was commentating on them.
Yes.
So I started broadcasting the games and with live commentation with my friends.
Oh.
And so, but was also doing shows about. I joined a platform on Apple, um, that was basically audio, an audio platform. and we would get together with people there and talk about different topics. But one of the things that was hitting a lot of people was mental health. And with some of my friends in sport and with commentators of sport, we started talking about mental health in sport and
Mm-hmm.
how it has affected athletes, people in the media, people within as well in the business side of sport. And so I brought that and I said, okay, so now let's bring that and do it on YouTube or do it on social media and stuff like that. And then I said, hold on, why should I? Why should it be my show? Why cannot they don't do it as well? They can have their own show of what they want. And I started bringing, giving my friends in the media shows, and they started putting together that. And it was funny because one friend brought one of his friends, and I started seeing that he had a different angle on stuff. So I started saying, you know what? Why don't I like what you are saying?
Mm-hmm.
You want to have your own show. And one ball started rolling after another. And that's how you came about. I mean, you came through a friend, one of my friends' shows.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I think that hearing people's points of views on different subjects is very good because you start realizing that um, your point of view might be correct, but there might be something that can influence and make it better.
Mm.
And we have grown this network from the two shows that originally started with to now 50 shows on the air. And we went from what was it? I think I had 500 followers on social media. Now this network gets audiences of 4 or 5 million people, and you're going, how? And you
Mm-hmm.
and that's what this is all about. This is about making an impact, making but making an impact with real people, with real subjects, with real themes. Because I think during the pandemic we went so much to the, how could I say, outside world of not thinking about what was happening, but
Mm-hmm.
trying to drift into other areas, that we forgot what was real. Uh, you know, uh, Shows on TV were about you know traveling and this and that, and you forgot what was important. The important part of what people were suffering during the pandemic, why it was so bad, and that's what attracts me right now, and why we keep doing what we are doing right now here in Spanglish is because people like you bring innovative and creative people to talk about the subjects that are important in the world. Our kids, how we guide them in their lives, in a
Mm-hmm.
certain way. No one talked about kids before on TV. You know, you had Jerry, you had Donahue, you had Oprah, and everyone was about outlandish stories that made ratings.
Mm.
I don't believe in that. Ratings is not what I care about. I care about people. I don't care if we have 300,000 people or we have 3 million people. I don't care. Why? Because as long as we can affect one person and that person can make one change in their lives, that's what's important. And the impact that we are, by having the amount of people that we are having, we are making an impact. Whether it shows in the numbers, whether in follows in the social media or not, it doesn't matter as long as we make an impact.
All right, so you are listening and you are tuned in, and I'm so grateful to you for doing that. But you heard it here from the man himself. He's talking about just one person. And you're that one person sitting in your living room or your bedroom right now listening to this show. You're that one parent who maybe heard a different point of view that, hey, you know what? If you're a mother, you heard a father saying, I wish I could always be there. Or if you're a mother, you're thinking, oh, maybe my husband or my partner or his father, things like that too. We don't know. And I think it's so beautiful how we're all kind of, like wrapping this up back to that essence of connection and impact. And that's what it began to. So tell us a little bit, Eduardo, like when we are looking at numbers, which don't matter to you, going from people who you're impacting, like maybe a few people as you began this network only 4 years ago. What is that reach now? What's that global audience that you impact on a year to year, if not a month to month basis?
So I mean, we are seeing numbers for the shows in the 3-4 million people per show, which is great. But the global audience that we can make an impact on for this network is over 500 million people, because remember, we are transmitted across the single TV network, which goes to about 125 countries around the world. So you know that only in itself, just the idea that we are transmitting to 125 countries uh, on a daily basis, you know, it's great, because we might not think it's important, but for them, somewhere else around the world, what we are talking about might be critical.
Hmm. Yeah, and I think that's the most beautiful thing. You talked about how you love not just going there to play watch the sport, but you love the camaraderie, you love the unity, you love the human experience being shared. And that's what this network is. This network is this way of saying, you know what? There's someone sitting on a chair, someplace, wherever that is, on this globe, and this is their story. How can we learn something small from it? And I think for me, the biggest takeaway was that you just trying to impact one person on brain, just one person, not tens and thousands and millions and billions of people, just one person, because that one change that you and I both know can actually trickle down so much goodness into every interaction, every experience, their families and generations to come. And that one thing I would love for you to share with us. What's that one thing that you will be taking back from our show today? And it's always a delight and a pleasure to have you here with us, Eduardo. And any parting thoughts?
Yeah, I think I'm going to take what your son said. Life is simple. I think that's something to really think about and to put to use. Don't make things complicated. Don't make things complex.
Mm-hmm.
Make them simple so that you can deal with them, and people around you see a change.
Yeah. I have this quote in my mind that I do want to go viral. And so as we close off, I will say it, and I will probably get a lot of heat from my family for saying this, but I really want the world, when they see me and when they see the things that I do, I want them to embrace and understand that simplicity, it's so sexy. Because there's something about it. There's something about it which you're like, huh, that was so much ease. Just the way that he said it. My son said, like, life's so simple. Why do you take ice to stress over it? And if we can apply that little philosophy, it will really transform the way that we focus on the things that actually matter, because the other stuff is just noise amongst the most important things in our lives. All right. Thank you so very much, Eduardo, for showing up here. As the show comes to an end, I would love to say thanks to every single one of you. Super, super, super gratitude to every single one of you who gives us the most important commodity in the entire globe, that limited commodity of time. The show can also be heard on Spanglish Radio Network. Please check out spanglishworld.ca for all the news and the programming. As we close and part ways today, my prayer is that this show will embark all of us on a transformative path to be in gratitude for all of the blessings of our lives, to really start to accept the unfoldings of the things that happen without our control and without our will, and that we commit to values and dreams which allow us to tap into our own greatness. Because it is true, I have tawakal, which is faith, in every single one of us. When we unleash our authenticity, we start to live more intentionally. Remember, there's only one of you. Design that life and live that life with excellence. Spanglish World, watch it, hear it, read it, download it. Most importantly, live into it to intentionally impact your life to be a little bit better and it serves you in the best of manners. Thank you much.